Okay, good evening everyone. So today's chapter is going to be compensation. That we have already done human resource planning, recruitment, selection, orientation and induction, training, performance appraisal, job evaluation, transfers. We are going to now move on to compensation. A very important factor why employees join an organization is to earn their living, or rather to get a compensation. So, as an employee gives his heart and soul to a company or renders his services to a company, in return he expects a compensation. So, in this presentation, we are going to talk about the introduction, the various types of compensation, what is the purpose of compensation, some bit about job evaluation, which we did today in the class, constituents of compensation, factors that affect compensation, wages, policies, and state regulations, methods of wage payment, incentives, and executive compensation. So, like I told you, compensation is what employees get in return for their contribution to the organization. Thus, it includes pay, incentives, and benefits. Pay basically would mean basic pay, salary, or wages, DNS allowance, etc. Incentives, on the other hand, would mean something that induces you to perform better. So, commission, performance bonus can be an incentive, and benefits can be benefits like health benefits, social security benefits, insurance, etc. If you see this diagram, the entire compensation system has been categorized into two, one being indirect compensation and another being direct compensation. So, indirect compensation basically means it does not have anything to do with what your performance is. You are bound to get indirect compensation whether you work or you don't work. You get it because you're a part of the company or you're holding a particular job. Anyone who will hold that job will get it. So, like further, if I divide it into three, that is protection programs, that is medical insurance, just because you're holding a particular position, you get the medical insurance, life insurance, disability income, pension, and social security. We'll talk about all these things, social security at least, etc., more when we move to welfare and benefits, etc. Pay for time not worked. So you get a salary, and during a month you have vacations. So you're on a vacation. If it's a paid leave that you're on, maybe a casual leave or earned leave, you get paid for it while you're not working. Holidays like Saturday, Sunday, or Diwali, etc., you still get paid for it. So in a month, if your salary is 10,000, you will be paid 10,000. It's not that it's Diwali, so one day's salary will be cut. Sick leave, the leaves that you have for the days you fall sick. And jury duty, this concept is not so much so in India as it is abroad, that it's a legal purpose, you have to go for any suit or so. So that's how it is. Services and perquisites, like you're being paid for your car. In some jobs, higher executives, you get a car and you get petrol money. Financial planning, low cost or free meals. So it's not that somebody who does not perform will not get a low cost meal. That's why these are known as indirect compensation. So three components within indirect compensation are protection programs, pay for time not worked, and services and perquisites. On the other hand, direct compensation relates to your work. So the base pay, salary, that is the executive class gets salary, labor gets wage. Merit pay depends on how much merit your work has. Better performance, better merit pay. Incentive pay can be bonus, commission, piece rate, profit sharing, stock option, and shift differential. We'll talk about that little later. And deferred pay can be savings plan, that is there are plans where you put in your saving and you get the money. Stock purchase, if you purchase the stock of a company, an annuity, which again means every month you're contributing something and you get it. So next is objectives. What is the objective of compensation? The biggest objective that compensation has is attract talent. The better pay package you have, more talented people will come to you. It also helps in retaining talent, because if your competitor is paying more than you, you will definitely go to the competitor. Thus, to retain talent, you have to give a handsome package. Equity, that is, equal pay should be paid for equal work. A woman and men doing the same job should be paid the same compensation. New and desired behavior, your compensation should be such that people do engage in new and desired behavior. Control costs, it should not be costly for you. The compensation should be such which is not costly, but whatever is the worth of the job the employee should get. Comply with legal rules, like in India we have Minimum Wages Act. Whatever is a minimum wage for a particular job should be given. Obviously it applies to the labor class only. And ease of operation, it should be easy to understand the compensation package, not difficult or complex. The factors that affect compensation can be divided into two: external and internal. External means outside the organization, which means environmental, while internal means inside the organization, based on management, etc. So like external can mean demand and supply. So for a particular job, if demand is more than supply, then the price will be high. Similarly, the compensation for that job will be high. Cost of living, whatever is the cost of living of a particular place, based on that is the dearness allowance. So in Delhi, the cost of living will be higher in comparison to Hapur. Society and labor union. So labor union, definitely if they have higher negotiation power, they can increase the compensation. While internal will be what is the compensation policy of the organization. How able is the organization to pay? If it is a big organization like Infosys, TCS, they are expected to pay handsome packages in comparison to some random ABC company whose name you haven't heard. Job analysis. Obviously, with the help of job analysis, description and specification, you reach the compensation of a particular company. And finally, employee. Better working employee should get a better compensation. Now, what are the constituents of a compensation? According to the Payments of Wages Act 1936, the term wage is defined as any award of settlement and production bonus if paid constitutes wages. It means wage does not include bonus. It does not include value of any house or medical facility or supply of light or water. Any sum paid to defray special expenses entailed by nature of employment of workmen, or contribution to pension, provident funds, social security schemes, and any other amenity or services excluded from computation of wage. That's why if you saw that diagram, wage is a direct compensation, not an indirect compensation. Wage includes basically two things: the basic pay and the dearness allowance. Dearness allowance is based on the cost of living. While wage is one part of compensation, the other parts of compensation are incentives, fringe benefits, and perquisites. Although there are certain regulations, just to name a few, not to get into the detail. The Payment of Wages Act 1936 talks about by when the wages should be given to the labor, 7th day or so. Minimum Wages Act talks about what should be the minimum wages that the employees should be paid. So obviously this is one of the external factor that affects your wage policy. Excuse me for that. Like I just told you, payment of wages to provide regular payment of wages without any unauthorized reduction, while Minimum Wages Acts provide statutory fixation of minimum wages. Now, very important thing is there are two major methods of wage payment that we are going to talk about in today's class. That will be the last slide for today. And I expect you to go through this video before you come for tomorrow's class. Because just like today, we'll be doing questions and discussions and activities in the class. So time wage system is that you're paid on the basis of time you spent on the job. That is, worker is paid on the basis of time spent on the work, irrespective of the amount of work done. While piece rate, workers' payment is related to the production or output regardless of the time taken for production. So thus the difference is time wage, the focus is on time, piece rate, the focus is on output. If you talk about efficiency, definitely in piece wage, it is linked with efficiency, while in time wage, it is not, because maybe you spend more time, but you do not produce more output. So you'll ask, why then to base your compensation on time? Because the quality, if the quality matters, then you should pay on the basis of time, because it will take more time to produce more quality work. And thus time wage requires supervision, not the piece wage. Maintenance cost for time wage is low, and that for piece wage is high. And definitely time wage, the wastage will be higher as compared to the piece wage system. So I will send another video tomorrow, and that will be on incentives. So I stop here. The questions that we will be focusing in our class tomorrow is, what do you understand by compensation? What are the factors that affect compensation? What is the difference between direct and indirect compensation? And the broad headers under these, and difference between time and piece rate wage method. Last, the objective of compensation. So please do bring your book also tomorrow. See the video tonight, and see you tomorrow in class. And all the best for your GE exam tomorrow.